Hey guys, it's Senpai here and welcome to another part in my Krunker mapmaking tutorial series. Today we will be going over how to use 3D models in Krunker. We will cover the basics of making a 3D model in Blender, using one you downloaded, baking the textures, exporting a model, and importing it into Krunker, starting off with Blender. If you don't have Blender installed, go to blender.org and download the latest version. I'm going to assume that you have a basic knowledge of Blender and are able to move around and create basic models. Speaking of basic models, let's make one real quick. Okay, here we go. I have a little basic model here that I'd like to put into Krunker. First, it needs some colors. It's easiest to assign colors in the shading workspace. Here, you can add a new material and change the base color to whatever you want. If you want to have multiple materials on one object, just create another new material, name it whatever you want, select the faces you want to change, and then click Assign. Now is a good time to talk about downloaded models. If you downloaded a map from a website like Octo showed off in his recent video, it most likely doesn't have a texture ready to go. So first, import the model into Blender through File, Import, and then most likely wavefront OBJ. If it's turned sideways, just rotate it on whichever axis. It needs to be upright. Also, make sure the textures are working by going into the viewport shading ball, which is the third one on the top right. Assuming they are, you're going to need to quote unquote bake the textures into one big texture, whether or not you downloaded it. So let's go over that. Head over to the shading workspace and click on the materials tab and select one of your materials. Then on the left, press Shift A and search for the image texture node. Then make a new texture and call it whatever you want. For the size, it has to be square, and in general, the more complex your model is, the bigger the texture. Now make sure this image texture node is selected, aka it's highlighted in white, and then copy it and paste it onto all of your materials. It is a little bit tedious, but it has to be done, so just get to it. Now head over to the UV editing workspace. Here is where you quote unquote unwrap your model so that Krunker knows where to put the different materials. Select your model, go into edit mode, and then head over to the object data properties, which is a little green triangle. Under the UV maps tab, click the plus icon and make sure the camera is highlighted on the first one and you've actually selected the second one. Then on the left, press U for unwrap and select Smart UV Project. The default settings should work, and then just click OK. On the left, you should have a basic unwrap of your model. Next, we can actually bake the textures. Head over to the Render Properties tab, which looks like a little camera. Change your render engine to cycles, and you can select CPU or GPU compute, whichever's faster for you. Then head to the Bake tab. For most Krunker models, you're going to want simple shading, and by that I mean just the colors. For that, change the bake type to diffuse, and then deselect the direct and indirect contributions. You can also change your render samples to 1, and it'll go a lot faster. Now you can hit bake. It shouldn't take too long at all, and when it's done, your texture should appear on the left, like so. If it hasn't, try clicking this little box and selecting the name of your texture. If your texture is black or blank, you probably did something wrong and you want to go back over and check it. If you need help, you can go to the 3D modeling channel in the MMOK Discord server, the link is in the description, and ask for help there. So now you have your texture ready to go. You can click Image and then Save As, and save it somewhere you'll remember. Now we just need to export the model, and for that you can do File, Export, and then choose either Wavefront OBJ or gltf 2.0. Either works for Krunker. If you choose gltf, make sure it's saving as a gltf embedded and not a gltf binary. Now that we have your model and your texture ready to go, let's head over to Krunker. In the editor, go to Publish and then Publish Asset. Make sure you're on Asset and the type is Model, and then you can change the category to whatever fits yours best. You can select private or not, and then for the diffuse texture, select the texture you exported, and then for the model, you can choose your model. Then just give it a name and click Publish/Update. It should only take a second and then it should upload. Now it should appear under Object, Custom, and Your Assets. There we go. This should have worked. If it didn't work, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and the easiest place to do that is in the MMOK Discord server. You're going to need to add custom hitboxes around the entire map so that you can actually walk around it, because right now it's just one big box, but you can do that on your own time. I think that just about wraps it up for this tutorial. If this helped, make sure to leave a like, and please use my new code Senpai when buying KR in the shop. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!